Okay, so here we have a Philips Pronto TSU3000 remote control that I just bought off of eBay. The touch screen is not working properly. You can touch it to wake it up, but anything you try to push, it does not respond to. This is the classic problem that is seen on the forums, and so we're going to attempt to fix it. The tools are laid out here. We just need a T6 wrench, a sharp knife, and a small screwdriver. So let's get started. First, you want to flip it over, push this down, and you can slide this back panel off and set it aside. You won't need that for a while. And you'll find the battery pack, or if you have batteries in it, you'll find the batteries. So you can take that out. Well, first you would want to unplug it. And set that to the side also, as we won't need that. Now there are a few screws we have to take off now. There's one here, one here, one here, and one here. So let's do that with our, again it's a T6, it's a T6 wrench. There's the first one. Here's the second one. The third one. And the fourth one. What I probably should have done is pulled out each one at a time, because these are going to kind of go everywhere. So there's three. Where's the one I'm missing? Right here. So I can come on, little guy. Okay, there's the fourth. So I'm going to set these off to the side also. Now we can start to pry this thing apart. So what I do, now you want to be really careful with this, and it would probably be even better if you had something thin and plastic instead of metal, because when you do this, it will slightly mess up the plastic. So just be careful, go slow, take your time. You don't want to damage, the plastic too much. You see how it's starting to pop out there? So if you kind of work your way around, it should eventually come all apart. So let's try to go slow and pry this thing off, or pry it apart, I should say. So see, it is coming apart, and just be careful. Make sure you're holding the remote really well, because you don't want to drop it, of course. Okay, so I think I got it mostly apart. You see how it's coming apart on all the edges now? So I'm going to try to carefully actually take it apart now. So see, now you have the inner workings. Now take this part. That's a little dirty actually. So you'll probably want to clean that later on. This is the front of the remote where the LED shines, it sends the signals to your TV or home theater equipment right through this black panel, so probably shouldn't be too, and it does come apart, by the way, shouldn't be too dirty. So let's put that back on, and I'll clean that later probably, but anyway, set that part aside now also. And now you're left with this piece, which is the main circuit board. And then you have this little piece. This piece comes off too, so I think At that point, or at this point, we should probably take this off. But notice how it goes in. It's kind of clipped in between. You know, maybe I'll leave it on for now, actually. What we got to worry about now is one screw, right? I don't know if it's kind of hard to see, but right there is the screw. And it's the same T6 screw, so let's take that off now. Again, carefully. You don't want to slip and jam your circuit board here. And we also don't want to lose any screws, so just let it drop carefully if it needs to. Ideally, you would be working at a bigger desk. I have a small desk here, so I gotta be really careful. That way, we don't lose any parts. So now you can see these gray cylinder-looking things. They're plastic that's coming from this plastic piece. So now, theoretically, that we get that screw off, we can lift this board out, I think. See, now that wants to come out. So we'll let that come out now. Just set it aside also. I was getting stuck here. Okay, there it goes. So, and kind of note when you do this, note how everything connects together, because obviously we want to put it back correctly. Okay, and this is the this kind of is a spacer between this plastic bezel and then this blue-gray piece of plastic, so just don't forget about that too. Now we can take that apart like that and set this aside. Okay, so we're almost there. So we're left. Oh, and don't touch. Hold on. This is another piece that comes off. These are the buttons, the hard button. Some of the hard buttons. It's just on its own little membrane. So you can set that aside too if you want. Don't touch any part of the circuit board, the circuitry here, as you can easily basically destroy any of these chips or other components with your static electricity in your body. So always try to hold this thing from the side. Never grab it like this or like this. So hold it this way from the edges. I'm just trying to clean my screen. And now we can take this blue-gray piece off, I believe. It should come off fairly easily too. But just, again, be careful, go slow if you have to, which I want to do. I don't remember exactly how this comes off, but I know. I know it comes off. It might have to do with this little blue-gray thing here. I can't remember. I'm not sure what's stopping it here. These buttons are dirty. I don't think there's anything mechanically fastening. I think it's just, you just kind of got to work it a little bit. Not too much though. It's thin plastic, so. Gosh. We have to take this out. I don't remember. Wow, this one isn't really good. I don't remember ever having this problem before. Okay, there we go. Hopefully I didn't break it. It doesn't look like it. So, with that out of the way, put that to the side also. Now we have just this board. And then the screen, also dirty. I'll have to clean that later with something. But anyways, what we're really trying to get at here is this. Do you see these 4 squares right here? Let me see if I can get a better picture here. So there's 4 dark squares up here. Hopefully you can see that. But those 4 squares are the key to fixing this thing. So what we're going to do is take a knife, a sharp knife, and we're going to just make a few slight pin pricks. So I'm going to zoom in for a little bit here. And each, like maybe about 3 pin pricks, and each little 4 dark squares, nice and solid. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3 pricks in the first square. There's 1, 2, 3 in the second square, and 1, 2, 3 in the third square, 1, 2, 3 pricks in the last square. Now I'm not sure what exactly this is doing. Supposedly it's allowing this connector here to make contact with, you know, these lines, which are electrical lines basically, connecting to the rest of the electronics, you know, the screen to the rest of the electronics. Supposedly doing this somehow helps make that connection. I don't know if I don't see how it could be the holes themselves, but maybe more that you're pushing down on these now kind of makes the connection better. So that's all there is actually to do. So we can actually put this back together and hope that it worked. So let me just zoom back out here for you. You can see an overall again, and we can start to put this back together. So we're basically just going to reverse the process. So I'm just going to put this back. Hopefully I can get this right. I'll probably go back later and clean everything again. If this worked, I'll just take it apart again. That looks like it fit And that looks like it went in. Now see, there's little holes that this plastic piece has to go into. See, like there's, not sure if you can see that, but there's one there, and then there's one up. Then there's one up here, right there. So you just gotta make sure that they all can go into those holes. That's part of the trick to this. Okay. So that looks like it's in. Now we can put this little clear piece in. I believe it was like this. So you see you have these notches. That goes on the bottom. And then this is going to be hard to tell, but there's a curvature on this side, in this little corner, and a curvature here on this corner. And that's going to match up to this curve and this curve. So you put it in like this as opposed to being like this. So let's put that in right there. Just it rests there for now. And then we want to make sure we have the buttons in place. So just you put this back in its approximate place. And don't worry, it's supposed to slide around like that. Now we can maybe put this on here. I don't remember exactly how this all stays together, but let's try it this way and see if this works first. So we got a few loose pieces. We have this piece, and this piece. If we can get them all to stay together, while we attempt to put this on, we'll be in good shape. So just kind of put this around. See, so it seems like it's working here, right? So everything fit together quite nicely. And that's helping keep this on. Except, let's see. So it looks like that all went together okay. So now, the tricky part is going to be putting this piece back on, because we have to deal with this for one, and then we got to make sure that this spring comes through this hole right here. That's to make that's for your, if you were using AA batteries, that's important. So I'm gonna see if I can do this here. So you might need to kind of help it through. It looks like that's going to make it through okay. So looks like everything's coming together okay. Oh, you know what? We forgot something. We got to put this screw back. So put your screw in there. Glad we didn't get too far without that, huh? And just make it kind of snug. Don't over tighten it. No need to. Okay, so now let's try this back. Put this back piece on again. And it should, theoretically, all snap together nicely. If you got everything back in place and in place properly. So you'll feel and hear the clicks, snaps of everything, but as you see, it's back on. It's all secure. So now we should put these 4 screws back in. So I just like to drop them all in first. And sorry about that. And we will tighten them again, just nice and snug. Don't make them tight, super tight. So that's all together. Now let's put our battery back in. And make sure so that's in there good. And then we got it connected, of course. And then you'll hear the beeps turning back on. Now, just make sure that you see this notch, this white notch on this side. This lines up with that notch on the left-hand side of the mating connector. So just make sure you match that up, because that way we got the right wires in the right position. You don't want to try to force it the other way. So let's keep it that way. And plug it in. So you hear that beep. And just kind of tuck that in down there, so that we don't, when we slide the cover back on, we don't catch the wires. And so let's take our back cover on. So it just kind of drops in at about this far. See how it's offset? Push down, and you can slide it in, and it snaps, and it kind of slides right in. And see, so now that's on. So now we have the moment of truth. Did this work? I have no idea. So that works. And what do you know? It works! Everything seems like it's working. So that little fix worked once again for me. So I hope you were able to follow this, and I hope that this can work for you. Thanks for watching.